You know, Surah Al-Ankabut and also the 20th juz is such a beautiful juz because it talks a lot about Musa alayhi salam, who is someone that the Prophet learned so much from in his journey as a prophet. And in learning that and in teaching us and in showing us through those verses, we too, as the Ummah of the Prophet learn how to be and how to we react to different things that has happened to us in our lifetime. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says at the beginning of Surah Al-Ankabut, أَحَسِبَ النَّاسُ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. That do people really think that they'll be left to just say that we believe and then they will not be tested or they won't have trials and tribulations and things that they go through in life? The interesting thing about the story of Musa alayhi salam is that Banu Israel, after they believed, they didn't realize that this is where the work comes now. After your belief is where you have to really show and really put in action towards these words of La ilaha illallah. If we're saying that there's no God, there's no deity, there's no one worth our time other than Allah, then we have to put in that time and we have to put in that work. And there are times in this dunya where things will be difficult and they'll be hard, but what you're meant to get out of it is actually a blessing. And that is to turn you to Allah. And that is to allow you to know that you're in this world not alone, but you're in this world with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as your Lord, as your Rabb, as the one who's taking care of you, as the one who's nourishing you, as the one who's making sure that you're okay. The Prophet ﷺ, during the migration, when he's migrating from Mecca to Medina, and a lot of the companions as well, they're experiencing a lot of torture even on the way to their migration or even on the way to Medina, in the sense that they're taking longer journeys, they're avoiding people who are trying to hunt them, essentially. And when they're doing this, you have this natural question in your mind of, man, I'm believing, and I'm saying I believe in Allah, but I have all of these hardships that are coming my way. And the context of this verse is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is revealing it in regards to their difficulty that they're experiencing as they're migrating. And you see now that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, listen, this is a test of your faith, but when you have a stronger faith as a result of this, then there's nothing more that you would have wanted out of this. When you're at that moment, this Ramadan, you probably have already experienced it, but now in these last 10 days, you're really hitting that prayer mat and you're really praying to Allah in the middle of the night by yourself, and you're turning to Allah and you're going through the events of your life and the things that are happening, and you're realizing that, man, this is the most sincere conversation I've had with God my whole life, right? But that sincere conversation didn't come out of, hanging out with your friends. It didn't come with hanging out with your family. It came with a little bit of difficulty. It came with a little bit of heartache. And that heartache, you poured it out to Allah. And Allah is the one who brings hearts together. So therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who put your heart back together. And now when you go and you pray, and now when you're fasting, and you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the reason why we fast, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, that perhaps maybe you'll get God consciousness and awareness of God, you now have a better sweetness in your mouth. You have a better sweetness in your action. You have a better sweetness in your tilawah, in your recitation of the Qur'an, because you have a closer relationship between you and Allah. Dunya is dunya. It is this world. And it's filled with good, it's filled with hardship, it's filled with heartbreak, it's filled with happy moments, right? But the akhirah is everlasting. And this is where we will get to be with Allah. This is where we will get to have our moment of saying, Allah, it was really difficult. It was really tough. But I'm happy that you, by your mercy and compassion, allowed me to be in this Jannah where I can experience all the good. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, do people think that they'll be left to say that they believe and they will not experience any trial and tribulation, is more like they will not be refined to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the best of their state, to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala having prepared and having had a close relationship with God in this world, so that we can be amongst the al-husna in the hereafter, those who get to see the beloved face of God, those who get to be in the presence of the prophets and of the companions. So this verse was something that I really want to talk about in this particular juz, because it really encompasses all of the juz, showing all the trials and tribulations that the different prophets have went through in reference to the trial and tribulation that the Muslims and the Prophet ﷺ was facing at his time.